Hello! There's an echo here a little bit, so bear with me. I'm just on my way to the airport to go home from my previous home from visiting family, but I just finished the Gathering of Shadows, and that means that I'm gonna be starting Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. I'm so excited, and I haven't filmed like this, I haven't vlogged in like ages, so I miss it and I miss you guys. I also have like a gazillion of mosquito bites and it's not fun. So I'm bringing this to the airport. I thought as a new tradition, first time I turn my camera on, I'm gonna read the first sentence of the book because I don't know, it just seems like fun. As she woke in the pod, she remembered 3 things. Oh, that wasn't very informative. I'll see you on the other side. Bye! Hello, what is up? Oh, hello, babu. Say hello to people. Hi. I am sorry. This is like a week later. I'm already home for like a week. But don't you worry, I have done 0 reading apart from the, part where I read on the plane. So I'm grabbing this now. And what is up with the light today? Look, if I walk here, I'm completely like blue. Ooh. I don't know guys, it's late. I made myself a reading spot right there. I wish I had a more comfortable bed because our bed is really not. Okay, so my first thoughts really are that I am in love with this book. I don't know why, I never really exactly expected anything bad of it. I don't know why, I just didn't expect to love it so much as I am loving it now, because it just seems like such a heartwarming, funny and just witty, but like easy to understand as sci-fis go. Really enjoying, and if you look at the tabs, all the other ones that I have are actually blue because it's funny. It's a funny book. As I said, I'm only like 70 pages in, but even before the 70 pages like lasted, I already was loving this book because of the setting, because it's really done like really brilliantly, because we get a little bit from the captain's perspective when he's talking to that complicated dude, because we need a grump on the ship. Like every ship has to have a grump, from like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Marvin, the depressed robot, he was a grump and I loved him. I don't know how much I'm gonna love this character. What's his name? I keep forgetting. Where's there's sunshine, you need shadows. So the rest of the crew, they're all just so brilliant. Literally reading this book is like playing Mass Effect all over again. Even better. Because I just don't know, like the 2 mechanics that just get drunk before the main jump, and then the other guy, that guy is hungover and he's just like hating life, but like it's important. This is like life-threatening things that they're doing, and he's just hungover because why not? And the girl, what's her name? Oh my god, why am I so shit with names? I just love that there's different species as well. I don't know how much time actually passed through since Earth was introduced to other species and anything, but obviously Earth doesn't exist anymore. I think everyone just abandoned Earth. And really interesting how we already sort of touch upon the interspecies sort of prejudices, and there's actually studies. This is like international relationships that you can study at university now. This is on a species level. Yeah, like I'm talking about this book and I'm already smiling because I just have such good feelings about it. I am loving it. I think it's gonna be like definitely in my top 10 like of this year, and I don't know where it's gonna rank, but it's not gonna be the last one probably. I'm loving it so much. So I'm also just want to like give a little thanks to you guys for actually voting for this book, because oh my god. It probably is not for everyone though, but even if this is your first sci-fi, I think it's quite easy to like because it is so cheeky and funny. I know I'm just like talking all over the place here and it's really not coherent, but what were you expecting? Really? Oh yeah, meeting the chef dude, Dr. Chef. I love that guy. I think it's gonna be like, I don't even know what is my favorite character. I still think it's the mechanic chick. Dr. Cook. His hobby is herbs. Just think about that. He just seems like such a sweetheart and his name is hilarious. Dr. Chef as well, but like his real name is hilarious. If I really relate, even obviously it's not on the same level, but no one really can pronounce my name here and I don't blame them. They legitimately don't have the letters from my name in English alphabet, so you know, I'm not expecting them to like pronounce it correctly, but I just could relate. And it was just really funny. Okay, so for the actual bits that I marked, it's just when Ashbury's talking about how Jenks replaced all the files with his naked pictures, and I thought that was hilarious because, hello, naked people are funny. We do learn about Rosemary's past life. We know that she comes from a family that was really well off because she lived in the area of the Mars that was known for having money, and I think her father is actually quite rich even between the rich people, but she clearly has done something or something happened that she just wants to get away from that family, but I don't even know if she has a choice. So I have a feeling that something like really extreme happened there, or that she actually just ran away and the family might be looking for her and she's like a missing person or something. And I don't know, I'm intrigued. But we also have this ageist thing going on where mainly that Grump guy is sort of concerned about her inexperience, but also I really don't want to call her the lizard girl, but I don't remember her name because I'm crap with names and this was like a week ago and my memory apparently doesn't last that long. Something with an S. Anyway, her. She also said that she will either, she's like a new hatched baby or something and she'll either toughen up or she'll die. So that's, you know, I assume she toughens up. I'm really interested to see what sort of job are they gonna get, because I'm at the point where I don't know what sort of job are they getting, but anytime now on the news we're gonna hear something and that's gonna be their big gig that I assume is gonna set off the big event here. Then there was this hilarious part with like Kizzy is just, I love Kizzy. She doesn't have like a social filter whatsoever. Oh, and I love that Sussex, that's the name. I love that Sussex is just from a species that don't have they have a different understanding of personal space, and I just love these little touches. I feel like the characters and the species were really well thought of, and I'm just enjoying it so thoroughly, as I keep saying. And Kizzy just, for no reason really, it's not a species thing, she's just a personality that lacks like properly lacks a social filter, and she just keeps talking about inappropriate things and I live for it. And there was this bit when she was like, I just watched a video and I have so many questions about the flexibilities and the way you work, you people work, and Sussex is like, I'm done with your videos, and she's like, it was called Planet 6 the Zero G spot, and like, come on, if you don't laugh at bad sex jokes, what is your life? Another darling part of her was her singing that song that's actually extremely racist. It's like basically about genocide, and I assume an equivalent of singing an anthem of, I don't know, Hitler's Germany, but she's just like, she's singing like I used to sing when I was a kid and I didn't know English, but English songs kept playing on the radio, so I just sang phonetically, and she's just like, she's singing Socks Match My Hat, and that scene, I live for it. Like, Kizzy is my spirit animal. I love her with all my heart, and I'm only 70 pages in, and like, it blows my mind how much I am caring for these characters already, and even for the ship. I just care for all of them, and I'm only 70 pages in, and I only read on one instance on the plane, and I've never even sat down afterwards. But like, how insane is that? Maybe it's just timing, I don't know, but maybe, because I do believe that it really depends on your mood, on how well you're gonna start off with the book. Maybe we just match really well on Book Tinder with this book, because I'm having feelings for it. Another absolutely adorable and just so touching part was when Jenks went into his Levy, is it Levy? The artificial intelligence core room, and he took off his shoes, and I was like, that is so adorable and respectful. And then we continue on to sort of understand that they are in a relationship, and I think that obviously this is very well in the future and everything is so advanced, and there are all sorts of organizations like Greenpeace and stuff, but for asking for rights, for equal rights for them. And I think that's another really important point, is how do you describe intelligence? How do you what is a soul, you know? Like, if a person is a thing, if a being is cognitively active and is self-aware, how do you say that he's not alive just because it doesn't have a biodegradable body, you know? Like, it's a really interesting discussion, and I'm so glad that it's part of the book. Again, I just think there's so much diversity and so much importance in these pages, even though they are written in a light-hearted way, and I think that's the best part of it. It's not pushing the views and it's not pushing the deeper conversations and deeper points, but you still get them across and you're also enjoying it, and I think that's just brilliant. And basically my last part that I read just now was where they actually went on to explaining the punching travel holes, and I'm not gonna lie and say that I was completely following it, but I was on a plane and didn't really want to read about things going wrong on traveling. But no, I'm just kidding, not that, but I don't really focus well in public places while reading, so I don't know if it was because of that, but I wasn't 100% following. I did understand what he meant, so it's not bothering me, but it was a little bit, tiny bit informational overload, I think, in that specific point. At the end I did understand what he meant, more or less. Would I be able to repeat it without looking and referencing the actual things that were said? Probably not. They made that blind jump and everyone survived, and they're just about to dock onto the planet or something that they're stopping, or like colony or something, I don't know, like a body. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying this book as much as I am, because like, boy am I enjoying this book. Anyway, bye bye. This is just not going anywhere. Today is like 26th of July. I still have basically most of the book left, because I don't understand what is going on. I feel like there's no time and I'm constantly so tired. I came back from work, I edited a video, and from then on I just made candles till 12 o'clock and then just cabbaged on my bed, like just fell face forward and just slept. And I just feel constantly so tired. I need to like prioritize my life and actually find time reading. So today I came back and I was like, you know what, I still have like a gazillion things to do, but screw it, I'm gonna go ahead and read. And also I put some lights here, so now I have that. But I'm liking my reading spot now, even though I can't actually see the lights, so maybe I should have put them there. But I'm still really tired, so I don't know how much I'm gonna read. As in, like, I will read and I'm just gonna read, that's all I'm gonna do, but I don't know how much I'm gonna actually, you know, words and stuff. But oh my god, I feel like my brain is just not working, and my eyes, if you wear contacts then you'll know when you get really tired and your eyes just sort of like stick when you like blink because they're so dry. And I did have lasagna though, so life is good. Okay, so it's like an hour and a half later or something, and I haven't read yet because Zeus was being extremely annoying and meowing so much, because he gets, I think it's not really his fault, because I think he just gets really bored. So we put a leash on him and took him outside. So I'm back now and I'm gonna actually try and read some. This is so bad. Is it also okay for me to like, is it okay and acceptable for me to say that I really like my reorganized shelves? Look how pretty. Look at him. Buddy. Hi. What's up? What's up, Zeus? Oh, he's so cute. I'm just now up to the part where Ashby met with his girl and just the chapter after that. Blue one, when he's thinking about ginger, because you know Dr. Shep is into spices and apparently that's his hobby, which I think is the best hobby in existence. He said that he doesn't really like the taste of it, and when someone's asking him, did you try to eat it whole, and he says like, oh dear yes, Dr. Shep rumbled a laugh. I thought it was some sort of spicy potato. But like the humor in this book is just such a wonderful thing. Anyway, so then we learn about their secret mission, and they're like they are offered a lot of money to go on this mission and punch a hole into this new territory that now they're making basically an alliance with the Thorimica. And basically this whole agreement between them is very political and sneaky, as in they're not supporting, technically they're not supporting the war between themselves, because I think, but the GC are not technically supporting this clan that they made this agreement with, but they also are going to protect them if they get attacked on the territories that they were talking about. And basically our ship is gonna go and punch a hole so they can get some resources, because I think the territory that they hold have a lot of good stuff in there. So let me get more comfy. So when we dock it for the marketplace, and they all go out, and Jenks actually stands there and waits for the automated system to finish speaking, because he is legitimately the nicest person ever read about. Who does that? No one but him. Oh hell yeah, don't have to hold this anymore. Kizzy is legitimately one of my favorite characters now, because she's so charismatic, she does not give a crap, she's not very appropriate when it comes to even socializing with other species, and she, you know how she basically offers to speak the language, and she was like, oh, I was really wanting to practice, and Sussex was like, I wouldn't even know you speak that, and she was like, yeah, I've been speaking it for the last 5 days, and then she completely fails. And how Rosemary says that she was pretty much being a little bit rude and disrespectful, so she just always goes on a limb and just doesn't really care if she's gonna get killed by something that she does. She's aggressive in a completely peaceful way, as in she's gonna do stupid and provocative things with best intentions. It's not even like best intentions, but just like no intentions. She's just doing it cuz. And it is hilarious, and it's adorable and naive, and I don't know, she's just so funny and so free, and I adore it. I adore that part when they're explaining why Jang is shorter, and it's because his like mother's, this is like I think equivalent for people who actually refuse to vaccinate their children because of the increased risk of autism, and I'm just like, these people should not be allowed to breed, my opinion. And so this is basically what happened to him. I like how Rosemary is asking why didn't he get tweaked, and like I said, only for quality of life. Just look at that happy bastard. His life would be total quality at any size. Those are like the best quotes I've ever read. I don't know, it's just so much goodness in that sentence, and it's funny, but it's so filled with like substance. And then Jenks goes into a shop and finds his old friend, I assume, and he's getting some pieces, and we learn that he's actually actively looking for a body, because he just completely goes all over the place and just buys everything that she sees because she needs it. And I bet that a lot of us can relate to this, when you're just like, no, I only need these things that are on my list, and then you go into the shopping mall and then like bam, you're just like, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna go there, and then you just start buying shit that you didn't know you needed, but then as soon as you see it, it's like, how did I live without this? She gets us. And I really appreciate how Sussex stands up for Rosemary when Rosemary is like, nah, you actually, it's not essential to have fancy soap. Nice and reasonable as well, and she's like apologizing, but apparently apologizing for her includes some sort of reward. And just Sussex is making fun of her, and she's saying, hey, you like the 12 days of jam cakes? And I just think that 12 days of jam cakes should be a thing. And then Sussex sees this old woman who I assume sort of represents autistic people, you know, the old woman that just doesn't really have good social skills to adapt to what the culture says that older women her age would do, and it's helping and raising kids, not their kids, but like just community elders usually do that, but she's not really good. and Sussex just sort of cuddles her and they just stay very semi-intimate for 30 minutes, but that's, you know, normal for them. And she's just being such a sweetheart, and she receives a feather, and I can imagine already that she has like a gazillion. And I like Faye. So far I think she's a good character, and their talk about war was really kind of thought-provoking, and there's some really good bits, and I just thoroughly enjoyed that chapter. And now I'm on to Dwayne. I think this is from Ohan's perspective, so that's gonna be interesting. Hello! So this is day... I don't even know anymore. I'm gonna try and catch up with you because I read quite a bit yesterday, but it was one of those days that I was just like, no way am I gonna put my face into a camera. Well, in front of the camera. Into the camera would be kind of difficult, wouldn't it? It's actually really dark, so I don't know how much you can see me, but I hope you can, because it's kind of late and I just don't feel like being exposed to the light. I'm very weird recently, so well, let's just go with it. And we just learned that Ohan is gonna... neurological illness is starting to basically kick in. What's it called? Wayne. It was extremely sad. It's a really weird concept for me to be okay to be subjected to a virus that's gonna make your consciousness just be more accepting of the universe, and obviously make you see things that you wouldn't be able to see and understand otherwise. But at the same time, that shortens your lifespan for so long. Would you do it? I have very mixed feelings about it. I probably wouldn't, because... not probably, actually, I really wouldn't, because there's nothing more precious than time, I think. So, oh well, great. Oh, my battery's flashing. No, bad battery, bad. Survive. And then there was this article that somebody accessed, and at the end of it, it says, in many ways, the idea of a shared stock of genes drifting through the galaxy is far easier to accept than the daunting notion that none of us may ever have the intellectual capacity to understand how life truly works. And I think that is such a scary and accurate thought. Don't you ever just like sort of sit and think, I wish I knew what life meaning was, or I wish I knew how we came to be and what happened before the Big Bang, and you know, just these sort of things, because nothing existed before Big Bang. I think for our intellectual abilities, it's a very foreign concept, because even for something to be created, there was supposed to be a space that's something to appear at. Do you know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. But it's such a daunting thought, and sometimes you think, I just want to know, and it's really scary that most likely, not even most likely, 100%, at least us, our generation, or anyone who's alive at this point in time, we're not gonna know, because we're just not gonna know. It'd be dope if we did, though. I literally never use word dope. What is up with me today? Then there's something that Sussex says, and she says, the death of a child about to feather, yes, that was sad, but a real tragedy was the loss of an adult with friends and lovers and family. The idea that a loss of a potential was somehow worse than a loss of achievement and knowledge was something she had never been able to wrap her brain around. But I share that belief like nothing else. It always bothered me, but I really rarely, pretty much never, actually voice this, because people are very touchy, because most of them are very parental, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just, you know, just not one of them. I just never really, and I'm not speaking that if I had a child, obviously anything from a family dying is tragic, and more tragic because you know them, but from like a very objective perspective, I was never really able to understand why, if someone killed a child, it's gonna be all over the news as if it's 100 gazillion times worse than if that person would have been an adult. I don't necessarily like speaking about it because it's such an unpopular opinion, but just reading that in a book just sort of makes me feel like, you know what, maybe I'm not the only one like this. It was such an adorable little part when they just got mail and Ashby actually got a letter, and at first I was like, yeah, so they don't even know how to like open an envelope, and they're saying like, are you gonna cut it? And they're like, do you want me to tear it? And it's just such an adorable moment. And then the very first sort of actual action piece happens where they get attacked by, when they get followed and they get attacked by Acrax, yeah. And I love Rosemary's solution because she just appeals by what she knows about them, that they're reasonable people. I appreciate how these pirates are not made to be like absolute villains, clearly they are doing wrong, but they're only doing wrong because they're desperate enough to not really care about morals, which I think again is a concept that would live through centuries and doesn't matter, and would be universal for, you know, every species that exists. The only person who actually gets hurt is Ashby, and he got smacked because and this part, I swear to God, I actually laughed out loud. They were talking about why he got hit, and Rosemary saying because the gesture that he made actually meant that he'd rather rub shit into his eyes than keep talking to them. And I feel like, how is there even a symbol specifically with that meaning? I also really enjoyed the part where they landed on cricket. There was a paragraph speaking about how someone is afraid of heights because even though they live in a spaceship and there's space everywhere, something about gravity and actually not being able to stop yourself falling, and actually height being, you know, possibly dangerous, that really sort of scared them. And I thought it was such an interesting touch as well. You guys, the universe is literally against me. First the battery died, now it's not focusing, the card got full, and I couldn't access the files to delete something, so I had to go and get another card and format it, and oh. That was the whole part of them staying at the cricket planet, and that weird 16-year-old very keen on fighting weird creatures. I really actually enjoyed that chapter. I think one thing that I really enjoyed about this book, that it's not exactly, it is technically from a lot of point of views, but it never shifts away from the same sort of crew. So I think this is the best kind of writing for me, because as you know, I really don't like jumping from character to character, because I don't like being taken out of the context and then having, it just sort of breaks the spell for me. I just don't like being taken out of something that I'm just starting to love. But this way it really works, because the change in the point of view is so subtle that sometimes I don't even notice. It's almost if it's written in the same exact perspective but from different people. It's very subtly done, and I really find myself enjoying it. She saw the news about her father, who apparently made bioweapons for both sides for the war, and now is in prison, and I believe that this is why she fled her original family. Oh, that brings me to the point, but that I no longer think that Rosemary is our main character per se. I think the whole crew is. Like, some are more than other, but I wouldn't say that she's our main character exactly, I'm not sure. But yeah, she learns about her father being taken to prison, and I think that's why she left. Anyway, I was happy that she told them, and then everyone learned, and Ashby wasn't really pleased, but everyone was fine, really. And then we talk with Dr. Chef, and he tells his story, and this is back when he was a she and was a mother, and about losing the kids. And that was a really heartbreaking story, especially about those little things that get injected in the body or shot in the body and then destroys from within. That is so messed up. That is legitimately so messed up. And being a doctor in that kind of war, I feel like it's just oh, and there was one bit where he said, where I absolutely loved what he said, and I think I'm gonna be using this for any mental health thing in the future. It's when they're talking about the relativity of extent of your pain compared to somebody else's, and he says, but it still compares. If you have a fractured bone and I've broken every bone in my body, does that make your fracture go away? Does it hurt any less knowing that I am in more pain? And I just think that is the best thing that I've read in a while. It just puts my thoughts into clear actual words. There's really very few of orange tabs in here. Actually just one before, when they just went a bit too long on the explanation. But I did have one right here, and this is where we're learning about Kizzy's troubles of sleeping. It's because she says something that didn't really rub right on me, but I just didn't like the message of her saying that Dr. Chev had given her some jobs to help her sleep, but she didn't like them. They left her feeling fuzzy in the morning, and besides, she didn't want to be the sort of person who needed jobs at all. That sentence, I really, it just rubs me the wrong way, because this is the whole like prejudice and misconception that if a person needs medication that he's weaker, and that's why a lot of people are saying like, I really don't want to take medication, which I absolutely get, and you're free not to want it. But some people really need medication and they don't want to because it is perceived as weakness, but I just don't like when it's put like that, so it just feels like you're giving up on yourself or you're not equal to others, that you need help. You know, help is okay to receive, and sometimes if it's not in the form of social help from another person, that's still the same exact help. If you cannot sleep and something can help, take the freaking help. You know, it's not you know what I mean. It just didn't sit right with me. They didn't mean anything by it, but it's just one of those slips that sometimes you might not necessarily think about how it's gonna come across. And then we get Pei visiting their ship, which is completely random when you think about the size and the width of the universe. It's a massive coincidence, to say the least. So she boards the ship and Kizzy goes on and finds the mines. I really like the moment when Rosemary was talking to Sussex about how they're all finding that race of Pei extremely attractive, and how Sussex is like mimicking a dinosaur, being like, this is how I look like compared to that, like a reptile. And this is like the first hint of Rosemary and Sussex having like a thing where she's just saying in a friendly manner that she is very beautiful. And I don't know, I just like the whole scene. I thought it was very heartwarming. But yeah, then Kizzy finds all the bombs and she decides to just go for it for one of them, which sort of makes me like a bit worried. Her like inability to realize that she might actually need help, and then this sort of semi-reckless, you know, all or nothing behavior with little regard for your actual life is a little bit alarming. But I mean, she laughed at the end, so it's all good, right? She's talking with Pei, and I also really like that conversation because they're just talking about fear and how you get over like a PTSD type of thing. And Pei says that all these fears that she has, even fear of fish, just remind her how much exactly she still wants to be alive. And I think that's something to really focus, especially also when you have anxiety. It's a nice thought to have. Another thing that I really admire about this book is how romance doesn't outshine the actual friendship between them, because this is a crew, and just the friendship between Jenks and Kizzy especially. Others, I think it was especially felt when Jenks was basically telling Ashby that he's gonna sit there and he's gonna sort the screws. Shape the star, then we'll make it sub-piles by size. And Ashby saying, should I get us some kick? And he's saying, I think that would be best. Because they clearly, he can't help his best friend. His best friend is there and doesn't know if she's gonna come back. And he's just as distressed as Ashby for Pei, because just because you love somebody doesn't mean that you care for your friends less. And I just really like how this was portrayed here. Skipping some bits forward, they are stopping by Sussex planet, and this was a really funny part that also reminded me of Dragon Ball Z. It's when the kids are exploring the aliens being humans, and the kid doesn't understand obviously the boundaries of like where you can touch the human and where you cannot touch the human, and just sort of like grabs Rosemary's breast and says like, what are those for? And it was such a funny moment. He just landed on a planet, got groped. It's fine. I also like the subtle jab for like human parenting sort of styles when it's just compared to the ones in there where the kids are just respecting adults' conversations and they know that they're not to butt in. And whereas here on Earth, if a kid makes a tiny peal or a noise, like the adults rush towards him and just like pamper, you know, the kid with attention, which is just like a difference in species again. And then they go back and we get this scene where Rosemary visits Sussex and says to Sussex how she understands how it must be so difficult with the whole actual physical contact between the human species and her species, and how she's basically deprived of that. And she got really touched by the fact that the Wayfarer crew is her actual feather family, so she should be treated at least similarly as she would have been if she decided to stay. I do think that she has a little bit of a crush, and I think they maybe have a crush on each other now. I love how adorable it was how Sussex didn't realize what was happening at first, but they share this moment where she's so grateful that somebody finally actually understands her, and they decide to go ahead with it. And it's supposed to be not low-key, a meaningful yet not tied in like relationship sort of thing. And I think that was such a brave and brilliant thing for Rosemary to do, and I really, obviously she wanted it for herself as well, but I don't know, I really really was all for this. And I just liked that whole page. It was so fragile and nervous, and you could feel this like awkward energy and just like tiptoeing around the subject until they actually decided to speak about it, and it was just so awkward not to get misunderstood. You know how things are when you just start dating someone, or like, I don't know. I thought it was adorable and cute and all these things. And then we get the random inspection and everybody passes except for Corbin. And we haven't actually learned a lot about Corbin. Corbin has been sort of absent since the very beginning, just sometimes comes out to like annoy Sussex or something just before the chapter. So actually I sort of had a feeling that something's gonna be between them. Just when he got taken away and when people mention he will need basically like a guardian or like a guarantor, I knew it's gonna be Sussex. It was quite predictable, but I still really enjoy it. So he's been taken because he's a clone, which he didn't know. Can you imagine waking up one day feeling completely fine, and then the next you're beaten up, your ribs are broken, you're left naked in a cell because you're a clone? Even though that situation like really sucked, I was really happy that we got to know a bit more about his character. But the grump part was really explained when he had this video conversation with his father, when the father was basically, obviously because he cloned himself, so they're really similar. And when Sussex actually goes back to get Corbin out of there, and Corbin shares this like moment of complete embarrassment with her, and she's being very respectful and she's demanding that they're gonna give him something to cover himself up. He was extremely vulnerable, and she could have not come back for him. Not that she would ever do that, but she had an option to make him feel even more uncomfortable, or twist it somehow around that she would just say that you owe me your life, blah blah blah, you know, something nasty like that. But she hasn't, and Corbin was really thankful to her. And that whole moment when he's limping away, holding on to her out of that ship, broken, uncertain, and so vulnerable. And I don't know, there was some magic to that moment that I really enjoyed. And so where I am at the moment, they realize that they need spare parts, and the spare parts are kind of hard to get at the moment, and the only nearby small planet is some sort of uncertain one that was unmapped, and they contacted. So it was a cyanide planet, but the cyanides were actually much older than their navigator. No, yeah, I have landed, and they're saying that there's a cure, but obviously that the pair is gonna be really against it, so Ohan doesn't actually know what's up yet. But this is basically where I am, so we're just in the planet, and I'm hoping and I'm considering the possibility that Ohan is gonna be treated, actually have like a different personality left behind there to be treated. I don't know, I think that he might be healed, because it's so sad. And also there must be a reason why we encountered that planet, so cool. I'll see you tomorrow. Hello guys, I've come back from work, and Logan's new job requires him to travel, and whoa. So he's actually in Aberdeen at the moment, which means I have the flat to myself, which also means that I get this really rare opportunity to read in like, oh, I say complete silence, like we live in a really busy street, but complete silence where the flat is concerned. So I'm actually really looking forward to this, and I know I have like a gazillion things to do, but also I haven't finished the book yet, and I really need to, because it's the 2nd of August and I want this diary to go out on Sunday. So I haven't had dinner, but I don't really feel hungry, so I think I'm just gonna make myself a milkshake. Dinner is ready. Let's go read. The only 2 tabs that I have, one is for the knowledge that Ohan could still navigate if he took the cure, but obviously he said that was very predictable, but I'm thinking maybe they'll just gonna force him, like. And the other one was just like a really nice thing of Ashby to do when he was trying to tell Kizzy that he doesn't want her to speak when they meet the diplomats, basically, and just the way he said it, you're too cool for them anyway, Kiz, and it was just really nice. And that is literally all I really marked from the last time I checked in. It's just a few pages. I am at the point now when they're just about to count down the punch that they went there for, and I assume something like very serious is gonna happen, because we're approaching the end of the book. I'm gonna have just over 50 pages, something like that. and so I definitely want to finish this today because I sort of need to, and that sounds like nothing to most of you, but as I said, slow reader most of the time. I'm really excited because this is the big punch, and they gave this like syringe and said that you need to inject Ohan if he starts losing feelings everywhere, and I don't know, I just refuse to believe that he's gonna die, but maybe. I refuse to believe that, because why would they introduce us to that whole planet and that the cure exists unless to make it more dramatic? But I don't know. Let's go! Let's go, let's read it! What is that Remy ship doing, like, on their tails? I don't trust them at all. Something's fishy. The bitches hit them! Why you have to be like that? Okay, so this is like an hour later, but I've been speaking on the phone and making food and stuff. So I'm only like a few pages in, but they're saying that the system that basically, how would you call it? Boxes? I don't know. Basically the one that lets you speak to other crew members was down, and I'm just thinking, you know how they got shot and nobody really got injured? What is Lovey like fried? Jinx! Oh no! So Ohan is, I'm just reading the sentence where Ohan is crashing, and so I assume he's gonna accept the cure in order to save the crew and not himself, because he's still a good guy. So I'm fairly certain that's what's gonna happen. Okay, so maybe Ashby did that without asking when he ran, because but yeah, they're safe, they're good. All good. This is so sad. I just love how everybody is so touched by Lovey, and how Ashby is actually thinking about how he treated her before and how he feels crappy that he never really properly thought of her as a crew member, and it's so sad they're gonna have to, and those bits are so well written, you know, when Lovey is just so distressed and she doesn't know what's happening and she gets like distracted by random things and she's just not focused at all, and Jenks is risking everything, his sanity basically, like when he is plugging himself in, and I think that's just like such a true love thing, and and those bits where they're talking is just so heartbreaking. Anyway, I need to keep reading because I bet she's gonna be fine, but it's still sad. But also, where's Ohan? No one really mentioned him afterwards, and I feel like I still think that maybe Ashby injected him not with adrenaline but with the cure, and then one of the two is gonna happen. Either Ohan is gonna be extremely insulted and really mad and actually might leave for a bit until maybe he changes his personality and comes back, or he's gonna be okay with it because he's not gonna be the pair anymore. But I wanna know what's happening with Ohan as well. Oh my god, I'm just on the chapter where Corbin is entering with the box to see Ohan, and so I bet he's gonna do something that he thinks is okay and right, and actually put the cure inside Ohan because he doesn't want the crew to experience any more loss. I'm just where he just entered, but they mentioned the box and I'm just like, oh my god. Oh, this is gonna be all sorts of complicated. But also I can't believe that Livy is gone. Okay, before I say anything else, this very last page or very last subchapter when Rosemary first goes into the empty space is absolutely incredible. I've gotten proper goosebumps reading about this, and I just want to be in there. I want to feel this like freedom and insignificance of myself whilst feeling like the biggest part of the universe, and just I want that so badly, and it was written in such a perfect way. I have like, I just don't know how to express my love for that last page, because I am very, very picky when it comes to the last pages, and I feel like this book has been wrapped up in the most insanely beautiful way I have possibly ever read. Just because it was related to the book, and it was very, very personal, but it wasn't literally just wrapping. It's very often in books that they just set a precedent for the next one, or just like they mention something or cliffhang it, or just write a happy ending. But this is a different kind of happy ending for Rosemary's like well-being and acceptance in life, but it's just so much wider and so much more important, graphic, and just oh my god, I love it so much. I like, you know, you can hear me, but oh my god, I am incredibly sad that Levy actually died, but I'm also really, really happy because I wasn't expecting, because I just sort of thought that this is gonna be all good and peachy, but I'm glad that it's not, because Ohan survived, and Ohan is such a little beautiful being, and I can't believe how much, like, he's already showing such interest in new things like cooking and eating with people, and I feel it's so sad that this species literally injects themselves with this antisocial virus that controls their mind, and they just don't get to live the life they want. And he was speaking about the things that he wants, and even the word want rolled off his tongue so heavily because he didn't really understand the concept of actually wanting and staying. And the way Dr. Chef reacted was basically the way I reacted in my mind, and this got really into, like, this hit really in the feels, but I still didn't cry. I love the bit where it just basically foreshadowed with the fizz box, and so when they mentioned that Kizzy pulled out the fizz box for helping to restore Levy, that's how we know that the situation is so dire. And I just love that little foreshadowing, those little details. I don't know, I just think it's really nice writing. We still don't really know what exactly happened and why they were attacked, and the Toremi are sort of shifting this on basically extremists, or like just a branch of rogue Toremi people. So that's interesting. I'm sure it's gonna be somehow addressed in the next book. Rosemary also goes to Ashby, and they speak about Matt because he's not wanting to go, because it shouldn't be about them, it should be about the crew being represented for the diplomats. And Ashby goes and he talks with them, and there's clearly some separation of opinions and trying to shift the blame sometimes, because obviously they have different opinions about the union, and actually him speaking to them changed the course, and they stopped the union as far as I understood. So I thought that was really cool, maybe a bit unrealistic, but it's pretty cool. But the biggest awesome part that I thought happened during that phase was when Ashby asked the AI the name, and the AI saying like, did I offend you in any way, and he's like, no, I'm just wondering. And it's just showing the change in his perception of artificial intelligence and how he learned from this. And obviously it's sad that it took a tragedy for this to happen, for the shift to happen, but it usually does. Like, you never, until at least you have a scare, you never really appreciate something that was so common for you and so usual that you didn't really think about life without it, or you didn't appreciate it as much, because, you know, when stuff gets taken away from you, that's when you start appreciating things. And I just thought that was such a strong point to make, and this book really speaks about the whole sentient concept and where do you draw the line, and even still it's sometimes hard to wrap your mind around it. I was always for that, and I get really emotional when talking about these sort of things. And although when that guy, I got so triggered and so mad at this guy when the lines were, and you suffered no casualties, correct? Said one of the Andres. We lost our AI. She suffered a cascade failure and we were forced to reset. Well, said the first Hermagian, I don't know, Hermagayan. I literally just look at the word and I don't even pronounce it in my mind, I just skip it. At least no one was hurt. Boy! They were! Oh my god! And they got a new, and so they now have a new AI, and his name is either Taiko or Taicho, I'm not sure. It was sort of really touching when Ashby noticed that he might be a bit nervous, and I was like, oh no, because obviously there's like big shoes to fill, and you know, it's like first time at your job, and you know, it's all like weird and fresh, and I thought it was adorable, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know this AI better with Corbin. And I don't think that Ohan is actually mad at him, because I think Ohan will be glad for it because he wasn't himself. But yeah, I am so looking forward to the next book just to see more of Ohan, because I feel like it's gonna be such an awesome character, because we now have such a strong character development, because we've seen this completely different side of him, and because throughout the whole book we saw just that other version of him. I feel like this has such a strong building and it makes you want to know him more. I feel like it's a really good strategic point from a writer's perspective. I am so happy you guys picked this book for me to read, because I swear to God, this is, I don't think I need to even say it, this is definitely 5 stars for me. I thought it was amazing. It's hilarious, it's diverse, it tackles topics that make you really think about the, as I mentioned, about what counts as sapient and who deserves a body and what the rights are, and then interspecies communications. And I think this book is mainly about friendship, and that is why I love it the most. There are definitely a lot of books about friendship. I'm not saying that it's not included. It's a huge part in a lot of books still, and it would be completely lying and exaggerating saying that they aren't. But I just love how important and how true the friendships are here, and just the strong impact of it for the whole plot. And I don't know, I just adore everything, fucking everything about this book, and I'm so glad I read it. I don't even know what else to say. I am really looking forward to reading any of your thoughts, guys. I'm gonna probably later on today head on to the Goodreads group and check what you guys said there, and I cannot wait to read your comments down below of the video of the book diary. If I ever edit this, it's gonna be so long, as all of them are. That's why I'm doing this every 2 months and not every one, because that's impossible. Anyway, I'm hoping that you're gonna guys enjoy this, and let me know all of your thoughts, or any of your thoughts that you had about this book. I loved it. I'm so excited to speak with you, and holy crap, this is, I don't know, maybe I'll calm down, but I honestly don't see any bad sides to this book. I loved it from the first sight. Their characters are amazing, the plot is just spot on, it's not too slow, it's not too fast, there's things unanswered, but it's wrapped up in this amazing way. Yeah, 5 stars, what else can I say? Anyway, thank you so much for watching, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you soon. Bye. Right, so this is me from the day after I read it, and I actually spoke to a woman who at my work who also read this book, and she said that the second book, she hasn't read it, but she read the synopsis, unlike some of that you guys know. I never read them, but apparently the second book is not actually a continuation, it's like a separate sequel, so it's like a standalone sequel to the first book, and we're actually following Lovelace instead of the actual crew. So girl, if you're not gonna tell me more about Ohan and what his actual personality is, I'ma cry. I'm still gonna read it, but I'm not gonna cry reading it, so whatever. I still love this. Also, standalones are sort of hard to find these days, so that's kind of nice.